welcome to the Drawing Room Experts. This is Zaib, and it has been an absolute um, age since I last recorded my podcast. Biggest reason was I was not here in the US. I was in Pakistan for a couple of months, so I wanted to do some podcasts over there as well, and I recorded something, but I never got to release it, and I thought since I'm back, I'll just continue with the same settings that I have right now, or usually for the podcast. So apologies for a massive delay. Happy New Year. It's February now, so Larry David's gonna hate me for saying Happy New Year post 7 days. I think that's the cutoff point. Or is it 3 days? But anyway, it was one of those two. Lots has been happening. It's not that I didn't have things to talk about, but just didn't get the time, or something came up or the other. But I'm back, and I'll try to get these out as quickly as possible, as consistently as possible. So there's fewer gaps to look forward to, and this is something that I want to commit to, especially for this year. It's been PSL 2022 season recently that I've been obviously following very closely, and really enjoying the whole tournament and everything that goes with it, videos and banter and everything. One thing that has caught the eye, and it's not just for this PSL, but it's been a couple of years now, it's been catching the eye, and I've wanted to say something about it, is the, I would say, unnecessary attention or focus that surrounds ex-Pakistani cricket captain Sarfarazahmed. I call it unnecessary because he's no longer the captain. He's no longer in the side for whatever reasons. But मुझे कभी-कभार लगता है कि like the focus is too much on him, and it makes no sense as well. I mean, सबसे पहले मैं इस पे बात करना चाहूँगा कि what do I actually think of the ex-captain himself. Saify, I feel I saw his axe coming from a long way. I knew he was going to get replaced, not because of any stupid reasons around tassub, or because he's from Karachi or whatever. That's bullshit in this particular instance, in my opinion. But because I thought he looked stuck. As a batsman, he looked stuck on the crease. As a captain, he looked that he's tried everything and it's not working, and he just looked too anxious. I was even of the opinion at the time, was like, he should take some time off. He should say, hey, I've served Pakistan cricket for a couple of years, 3 years at that time now, and it's been really tough. He's faced a few tough opponents and tough series, tough losses. The World Cup was not easy, especially that loss against India. He should have taken some time off. Our cricketers sometimes, and I don't blame them completely as well, sportsmen sometimes, they don't want to take time off because they feel like they will be replaced. And that's true, right? Especially if you're in a very competitive environment like cricket, in Pakistan, it's very competitive. You're going to get replaced if you're not there anymore. But at the same time, I think you should realize what your assets are. If you are that good, you'll eventually definitely make a comeback. Sometimes it has to do with financial security, and that again varies from person to person. Saify, I felt, was at that stage, I felt like he merited a break. He could have taken the Sri Lankan series, for example, first season to Miss Bakar. He should have taken that off. I said, you know what, I'm just gonna, it's at home, playing apparently against Sri Lanka C. Let's have someone else lead the lineup. Let me just take a little bit of a break for my mental sanity. And I think Misbah and Waqar would have, especially Misbah being the chief selector, would have appreciated that. Would have given them more options to see, okay, what do we have on the bench? And he didn't do that. He wanted to walk it off. He wanted to walk his bad form and bad captaincy off by just playing more. And that didn't work. And eventually, he lost the series against Sri Lanka at home against a very junior Sri Lankan side, the T20 series, that is. And he was replaced as a T20 captain, by Babar. And then eventually, ODI and tests. So at that point, I felt like he should have taken a break. I did understand why he was being replaced, because it wasn't just working out. I mean, he has a magnificent CV. He's won the Under-19 World Cup. He has won Pakistan the Champions Trophy. He has been probably definitely Pakistan's most successful T20 captains. Won 11 series or 13 series on the trot, and was instrumental in introducing young talents like Shadab Khan, Hassan Ali, Shaheenshahafridi, even, just captaining them, nurturing them at the very start of their careers. Naseem Shah, maybe not Naseem Shah, but I think a lot of the youngsters that played under him are now superstars. Shaheenshahafridi, Fakhr Zaman, wasn't youngsters by age, but he was young in the team. Babar Azam, Shaheenshahafridi, I think I've named him, but these guys have made it big now. They're huge brands. They all started under Saify. So मुझे ऐसा लगा कि his acts was merited because of his form. Personally, I think it wasn't good enough in that side. And I've always been of the point of view in Pakistan, if you're not performing as a captain, doesn't matter who you are. You're always it's going to be very difficult for you to stay in the side, because especially when other people are performing, right? So you really stand out. I mean, the reason why Misbah got to stay there for 10 odd years is because he was performing in every format. Like, be it ODI, he was the only guy standing on the crease. Be it T20, he had the highest average and strike rate for any of our batsmen. And this could be debated, but I think I'm not going to be too far off. And he's your most successful ever Test captain. So you can argue till the cows come home about the team's performances under him, but his personal performances were top notch, and it was very difficult to replace him as captain, because whoever's going to come in is not going to come in his place. It's going to be someone from that lot, and that lot was rubbish, to be honest. Sarfaraz gave the selectors and everybody else the option that if someone were to replace him, he's going to be replaced as a player as well, because not just a captain. I think he wasn't performing as a player as well. So, and he tried a lot, and I commend him for that. He tried batting at 4, tried 5, 6, even not even batting. I remember one of those games he was in the dugout and probably I don't remember if he came out, but if he had come out, he'd be coming out at 8 or 9, way down the batting order. So he tried everything, and it just didn't work. That's why I felt like he needed a break. He needed to really refresh his ideas and see what's wrong. Maybe play some domestic cricket, get his touch back, his confidence back. But that didn't happen for whatever reason, the reasons that I've just explained. I think that those could be one of them. But on comes Babar Azam, and he goes to the back, and he's replaced by Mohammad Rizwan, who, I mean, it's just a freak of nature, isn't it? Right? You get replaced by a player, and you feel like, okay, I'm still around. I'm in the squad. Rizwan is new. He's going to make some mistakes. He's going to make some people anxious. And, uh, you know, as soon as you're back in the contention for the first team spot again because, the new guy hasn't settled in well. That happens 9 times out of 10. But in Sarfaraz's case, is he came across the one guy who hasn't had a bad day for 2 years. And I'm not exaggerating. He hasn't had a bad day for 2 years. That's insanity of, cricketing abilities. I mean, his form ever since he you know, stepped in that first team, into that first team, has been remarkable. And I couldn't be happy as well because I've always admired the player. I thought he was a fantastic fielder before, even he was a player or anything like that. I didn't know he was a amazing keeper, but I could understand because he was a fantastic outfielder. I've seen him take a few blinders, I think, against Sri Lanka, in Sri Lanka. I think he was like a substitute or maybe he was playing, I don't remember. But he took some like outstanding catches on the boundary. And he's repeated the same in the national circuit as well. So all round hard worker, team man, he's been hanging with the team like Sarfaraz is now for about, a good couple of years, I think. And he's been patient with his opportunity. And he comes in and he completely, blows the competition out of the water. And, that doesn't happen anywhere. It doesn't happen too often in any cricket, in any international teams cricket. It doesn't happen in Australia. It doesn't happen in India, whatever. You bring in the top teams, you're not going to see someone come in and be this good so fast and get the old guy out. I mean, even India, when they replaced Mahendra Singh Dhoni, they were all over the place. They couldn't really find the perfect person. I mean, Rishabh Pant, people say he's a good replacement, but there are still question marks over his wicket keeping. So I think Australia kind of struggled when they had when they had Adam Gilchrist retired. England, nothing really stands out there. But yeah, you don't really see someone as good come off the bench and be like completely the best, right? And he's been the best for 2 years, hands down, in all formats. So this is a little bit of a background of what's been happening with Saify. And then he's still the captain of his PSL side. What now comes to the part which I have issues with. Everything that has happened, I understand with his frustrations. My issue with the whole media buffoonery that surrounds Saify is the fact that everyone is having a go at him now. Every single movement he does on the field or off the field is being studied like microscopically, and I just don't understand that. One of the reasons why I don't understand that is it didn't really bother them when team was doing well, when he was doing the same thing. I mean, nobody spoke about his aggressive attitude on the field when Pakistan won the under-19 World Cup. Nobody spoke about his aggressiveness on the field when Pakistan won the Champions Trophy. If anything, prior to him, Misbah was the captain, right? I remember Misbah when he was replaced by Sarfaraz, and Misbah was not the kind of guy who would run on to the bowlers and scold them or be aggressively talking to them or be like superly involved in the matters on the field. He was very patient. He was almost like supervisory role on the field. And I mean, he wasn't a dull captain, but he wasn't Saify levels, right? If you know what I mean. And I remember at the time, media was absolutely, going gaga over him. And the fans were going gaga over him, saying that, wow, this is how the captain should be, aggressive. He's talking to his bowlers. He's running all the way from the wicket keeping end and all the way to the bowling end. explaining to the bowlers what he needs to be done and setting the fielders that they need. And he's so like involved. Everybody loves him. And, the side loved him too. I'm not going to deny that. But they absolutely loved it, right? Nobody had any issues with his aggressiveness. And then all of a sudden, this whole idea of being the cool captain where he doesn't say anything, he's smiling all the time, is somewhat become like a norm. And it's bizarre that people are associating that side of a person's personality as the ideal personality of a captain, where the captain just smiles and does nothing and really bucks up the bowlers and say, well done for being even if you've gone for 20 runs in that over. And now he's getting compared with Shaheenshahafridi. He's getting compared with Rizwan, that how he deals with his players when they're failing, and how Shaheen deals with his players when they're failing, and how Sarfaraz deals with his players when they're failing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, even if we look at their respective CVs, Rizwan is probably the only one that can be, come slightly closer to Saify, because he's won the PSL last year. But he hasn't captained an international side, and I'm sure he's going to do well when he does. But until he does, there's no way we can compare him with someone who has won international competitions in Sarfarazahmed. So it's ridiculous to have that comparison, number one, on just the CV part. And shaheenshahafridi literally is a 3-game, rookie in the captaincy world. So, I mean, let's just hold off on the type of captaincy, Shaheen is doing or Rizwan is doing compared to what Saify is doing, because whatever Saify does has actually worked for him, because he has the CV and the results to show for it. So he's won the PSL. He's been the finalist of a PSL. His teams usually do well. Last year wasn't really good. This year, probably going to do better than Karachi. But he's done it. He's done whatever that needs to be done, and he's proven that his methods work. So until you come up with someone with better methods who've also shown the same pedigree that Saify has done, I'm not going to buy off on this ridiculous comparison that everyone tries to make, and it's ridiculous. First of all, my biggest frustration with, I think it's mostly with the new generation cricket lovers, and I welcome them to this madness that is Pakistan cricket, supporting Pakistan cricket. I welcome them to the fold, but a lot of them just don't understand how the real world works, and they want everything to be like super nice, and they want their bosses to be kissing them and praising them for every little thing. I'm not gonna lie, I might be one of those too, who loves their bosses to be very overly kind to them. But I would understand if someone's frustrated at me as well, because if I've done something to merit that, then I will be like, yeah, okay, I get that. I wouldn't like to be treated that way, but I would understand it. So Saify's not running around because his bowlers are doing well. He's running around frustrated because his bowlers have been absolutely crap for the last couple of years. I mean, in the PSL specifically, right? Because that's the place he gets judged a lot. Not that his own performances have been outstanding, but hey, he's the captain, and he hasn't been poor as well. He's been doing what he can do to the best of his abilities. But I feel like this whole idea of the new generation of cricket fans, they want everything to be, wrap me around your shoulders and, console me. Dude, we're playing a game. There's criticisms to be faced here. So if I'm not, really overly cool about it, you got to understand it, get on with it, right? Having said that, I'm not a huge fan of Saify's, outbursts on the field personally, but I understand that's how he does it. And if anybody in his team doesn't have any issues with it, and he's got a really strong backroom staff as well, and Zaib Bridget's in there, and now Afridi in there, and a franchise that has done well in the past, so it's got a really structured, backroom staff. And if they don't have an issue with that, then they don't have an issue with that. Simple as that. So, I just I feel like his comparisons to Rizwan and Shaheen are ridiculous. It's like comparing Babar to Virat Kohli as a captain. I mean, Babar's just starting out. Virat's done it all. I mean, just ridiculous. It's ridiculous comparison. So let's not do that. Let's not make it unfair on the two upcoming emerging captains in Shaheen and Rizwan. And I'm a huge fan of those. First of all, I'm not a Saify fanboy by any stretch of imagination. I was the first one, when he got removed. I was like, told you it's gonna happen. I wasn't on the side which said that he shouldn't be removed. I do, however, think that I thought at the time that maybe the transition could have been better. Maybe not rip it off like a band-aid, but hey, that's what the people at the time wanted, and fine. And it worked out too. I mean, Babar Azam has come out and become a fantastic captain ever since he's been given the opportunity to lead. And Rizwan, his replacement, as I said, is absolutely magical. And he's doing wonders in the PSL this year as well. So all good luck to him. One final thought before I sign off for this specific episode. Saify, you got to calm down on Twitter, man. I know you're frustrated. I know there's a lot of comparisons being drawn with you, with babies compared to you, and I get it. But you gotta take a leaf out of Misbah's book and be calm, and you have to maybe stop using Twitter. Hire like a PR agency that really takes care of your tweets and your messages that comes out of your social media. He had that chapter with Hafiz when Hafiz was just talking to just praising Rizwan. I mean, and he was like, "Oh, what do you mean?" I also he took it personally. It was just ridiculous. Excuse me. And this recently had a chapter with Salman, but although I do agree with him, do agree with Saify there, but he shouldn't have done that. There's no need for him to do it. He's been a captain. He's served well. He's respected. He's won things for Pakistan. Why indulge in something like that against someone who's not even talked about outside of a few media outlets? Irrelevant person. So why give him the relevancy and the legitimacy that he thrives and he's urging for? Just forget it, okay? So, and I still feel like he should take a break. He should take a break from the franchise game. He should take a break from everything. Just be anonymous for a while. He hasn't. I mean, I know he's been like not playing for the Pakistan main side for a year and a half or 2 years, whatever. But he's still been traveling with them, and it's not easy traveling in COVID bubbles and all of that. So he hasn't really had a break. He's been training with them and everything, and he's been training really well. He's been professional, and everyone commends him for that. But I think he needs to take 6 months off, do nothing. Just maybe just physically train, basic physical training to keep himself fit, and go to the nets every now and then just to play around with the ball and see what he's doing with the bat, and then make a comeback in the Kaiser Azam Trophy season or any of the local or any of the national circuit tournaments, and really announce himself back into the squad, I would say, because it's going to be tough to replace Rizwan, but at least he can keep putting up those performances. That's all he can do. There's nothing else he can do. And look for some fresh ideas. Try and learn from the likes of Babar, and they're not experts by any Shadab. Try and learn from them. Try to see what they're doing that works for them. Try and sit down with ex captains from a recent era. I mean, I'm sure if you reach out to Mahendra Singh Dhoni on a personal level, he would probably answer your phone. Reach out to likes of I don't know, Sangakkara or Mahela Jayawardene who've played the recent, the modern game in won the World Cup for Sri Lanka, to see, pick their brains and say, hey, what am I doing that's not working? How would you deal with such a situation? Anything like that. Just get some ideas, learn. Don't be in this cloud of yaar mere saath nainsafi hui hai, and that's some people around him are trying to make him believe that. And I first of all change those people who wanting you to think that you're the victim here. You're not the victim. You're a fucking ex captain. You won things, so don't act like a victim. You're a powerful man, but just in a difficult spot. You just gotta get out of it. So that's all I'm gonna say to Saify in the end. But yeah, anyway, subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. It's gonna be consistent. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I'm gonna get some good episodes in. And again, apologize for the 2-3 months delay, whatever it was. And yeah, I'll be back very soon with another one. And thanks for hanging in there. If you're still there.